We traveled to Poland for the next step in our training, which would hopefully end with us climbing Mount Śnieżka in our shorts and not getting hypothermia. In Amsterdam, we had our first little taste of training with the Iceman. But for us to really get into what Wim calls cold, hard nature, he's invited us here to Mount Śnieżka in Poland. This is where he trains all of his big groups, including the 12 scientific test subjects that later proved they were able to suppress their immune response in an endotoxin test.
Control, no hocus pocus, just the magic of your physiology. Make it work, guys! It's your depth, it's your control into your brain. Nobody else's, no blah blah, just make it work. Deeply in, letting go. Your vessel. Charge up the current. Oh, faster. Okay, calm down. Hey, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fully in. Yeah, fully out. Go. Well done.
It's really bizarre to be in a room with a bunch of people who are tripping out from breathing. You get these tingly sensations throughout your hands and your body, so it feels like everything's vibrating, and then you get kind of like a sense of euphoria. And for me, that was it. You cried.
Yeah, mine was so weird. All my hands went like this, they just locked and I could not move them, and then I just cried and cried and cried, and then I couldn't stop crying. And I also wasn't thinking about anything sad, it was just like, it just came up.
It's hard to talk about it without sounding really cliched, but when I first did the breathing, in the middle of it, I remember thinking like, I'm so happy, I just want to get up and hug all of you people, I love you, I love all of you. And I guess that's how you become a hippie, pretty much.
Yeah.
I was amazed to see some of the reactions that people had here. What's happened when people have these kind of big responses?
What we do, we are going deeply into the physiology, past the conditioning. And what appears, people begin to cry, or they release anger. Whatever is hidden deeper than the conditioning. These techniques make it quite able to go really deep.
I guess it's kind of similar to when a psychologist gets someone to relive past trauma and come to terms with it.
We do not need psychotherapy. Fuck off. Just a little bit breathing. Just bring back the control within yourself. Connect back with the body. This time we are able to cleanse it all. All the people say, you know, yeah, you cannot steer life, you cannot do this, and yeah, it's part of life, and it's destiny, and it is fate. Fuck fate, and fuck destiny, and all that. No, this time we learn to control our happiness, health, and strength, and that's not philosophical or sectarian, it's chemistry.
Do you ever get any really negative people who never really succumb to the cause?
I have a very good example of that. Scott Carney is an investigative journalist. He came from America to this place to cut through the crap and the charlatan business and all that. And that was me, you know, the charlatan and the crap. It took him 2 days when he converted into, hey, but this shit is good. And he was standing with us in shorts after 2 days. And now he's, you know, he wants to write a book and bring it to America and everything.
Make a big circle. Big circle.
It may look like a Pentecostal sermon at times, but if you hyperventilate for long enough, it's normal to experience euphoria, muscle spasms, and seizures. it's more difficult to imagine how that can make it easier to stand out in the snow for an hour. Maybe, like in the immune response test, it had to do with secreting adrenaline. But whether it was some ancient secret of human physiology or simply brute force endurance and mental focus, it seemed that Wim's method was working on the group. My suspicion was that the secret was the infectious charisma of Wim himself, and just being in his presence was inspiring us to accomplish things we never would have normally done.
You're getting into some pretty deep places with your mind, and although it sounds kind of out there, I mean, when you experience it, I can't even, it's scary / amazing at the same time.
I don't know where, but I was gone and I saw things and I didn't even notice that I was screaming and making noises. It was really amazing.
It's just something we don't know we can do. In the east part of the world, it's in the culture to teach people how to do it. In the western part of the world, it's not a culture.
Enlightenment is a form of happiness and health, and it's not as deep and profound as people imagine.
I had a thing called Crohn's disease about 10 years ago. I've been to like detox centres and spent thousands and thousands of dollars on lots of different alternative health improvement things. A lot of them are quite new agey and just a load of old bullshit. At least Wim Hof has been working with a lot of different types of scientists and advanced hospital research, so that's the beautiful thing. And you've seen him on the Guinness Book of Records where he's sitting in an ice cube for 2 hours.
So what's going on?
We are filling the torches with gas. You know, we are going to the waterfall later on, like a fairy tale.
Wim's method would never have spread beyond himself if it wasn't for his business-savvy son, Einem, who's turned the Iceman into a website, an app, and a global brand.
I sent him some news when I was in Tanzania. Einem, I've been looking around here, but even in these far places where I'm getting, I don't find an asshole big as you.
Yeah, because we...
You are still the greatest. Greatest asshole.
The Wim Hof method didn't exist 4 years ago. It was an Iceman doing a trick which was only one person. So Iceman is a superhero. Nobody can be as the Iceman because it's just one person, it's a superhero. Wim Hof is a person like everybody else, and he already gained this fame to attract the attention, to show the whole world that everybody is able to do much more than thought of. So I thought that's a beautiful goal, to bring that back to the people. And yeah, I started doing the platforms, and now here you guys are, you know? I saw the things already from my childhood, what he could do with people. And so I trusted it.
How much of this came out of the tragedy of your mother's death?
Everything started there, because my mom was like psychotic. They constantly her with 11 personalities, and she was never there for us. It was always my dad being there for us. They stuffed her up with pills and to get her outside of society. And she committed suicide. So that was this beginning of my dad exploring for, okay, what's the answer? Where lies all these problems? So he went challenging himself. You know, if you don't have an answer, if they don't have an answer, you're going to find yourself an answer.
I know where I came from a valley. It's like a trauma. She jumped from the 8th floor. That's my grief. I loved her to death, but the world is not interested in natural methods so much. It's the money. It's very difficult to bring this to the establishment, but we are on it. So science in time now will take it on, and we do our studies.
Everyone's about to participate in this kind of non-religious ritual. They hold the torch to represent the fire within and then get in the water. Yeah, it might look a little bit sectarian, and I've said it before, I don't think this is a cult, but the thing is, Wim's so charismatic. If he gave me any poison to drink, I'd be the first person to drink it.
5, 4, 3, 2, there you go, 1. There we go. All in and let him go.
I'm gonna tuck you in.
I love being tucked in.
We're so cute.
The group had gone, and Daisy and I were left with our own personal Iceman trainer. In the lead up to climbing Mount Snezka, we were gonna need all the extra help we could get.
That was so weird. That was like the trippiest it's been.
Yeah, you
forgot where I was.
get eventually these white hallucinations, but it might just be depriving your brain of oxygen. I don't know if that's good.
Maybe.
Here is the summit, which we are going to get to tomorrow in snow and ice and just in shorts. This is what I did before on the Mount Everest. I was up till here in shorts, coming from 5,200 to 5,800, 6,400, 6,700, 7,500, 700. Over here I was.
He walked up Mount Everest in his shorts. What have you done with your life? We've just done the fun part of the Wim Hof method, which is where we get to do the breathing exercises and make ourselves feel really giddy. And now it's time for the part that everyone hates, which is stripping down to our shorts and jumping in a freezing cold waterfall. The water's running, so it doesn't actually freeze, but the temperature is below freezing. That means this is pretty much the coldest water I'll ever experience.
I like to go back into that pink overflow. I pay my dues. Oh, getting into that pink color blues. It's the daily life of rider. Get into it, that's your side. Gonna go. That's a feeling. It's the blues, it's the life.
We've just come out of the freezing cold water. I cannot tell you how cold it was. It was the coldest